54. Bo. At the end of February, the trial against my father started and lasted 3 weeks. He worked in the electronics shop and was also assigned by the car repair shop. He was quiet and serious. People perceived him as calm and conscientious. He didn't go to church anymore. Instead, he went down to the basement. She and he barely spoke to each other, except when she had to remind him of how exceptional he was. He, in turn, gave nothing back except an occasional glance. He smiled when the neighbor said hello, or when a co-worker from the treatment center bumped into them at the grocery store and exchanged a few pleasantries. He was happy with them both. What a respectful couple they were. My 5 older sisters are at the trial. I can picture them sitting there. My Esther sits there, scared, sobbing at times. Ada is there, calm and collected, studying the trial process, studying our mother who is still in custody, and our father who is on trial. Adina is there, wanting to bash her father's head in. Eva and Lisa are there to see that all the facts are presented correctly and to testify about the experiences in the basement. They are scared, small, and tired inside, but once again doing what simply must be done. I am Bo, and I am 11 years old, soon to be 12. It is good that we are here, still alive, thanks to the angels on the ceiling and the power of travel and school and play. But we don't have any parents. The Wilson sisters are just part of the flow, neither a tragedy nor a victory. We are here on the same terms as everyone else, equally free, equally capable. Our experiences may be dark and painful, but nothing that can happen to us adds up to who we are. And the Wilson sisters, like everyone else, will unearth the fossil, the exquisite pattern that is each person's pattern. Some terrains are trickier than others, but it's still the same lovely labor. I forget what sentence he gets. Me and my sisters are already far away when it comes. Birgitta comes over to me and sits on the couch behind me. I kneel at the coffee table and study the patterns of the beads, the ones I put out from the jar of crafts. Bo, honey, I was wondering if we should start with sign language exercises. We don't know if the speech can be corrected, do we? But maybe we should bring in a sign language teacher to help you communicate. Bo looks at Birgitta. Then you can show the others. Birgitta's stencils are very flat. Birgitta's tasks are very fixed, and I don't know if they laid anywhere at all. Birgitta laughs. And the sign language lady comes and teaches us to speak with our fingers. I love the quick dance of the fingers in front of my eyelashes. Miriam loves it too, and Naomi and Judith think it's good. The older ones find it more difficult, but they come to the lessons and learn a lot. Bo is dancing. All the letters and all the words are waltzing, up and down and back and forth, and through tunnels and fast up in trees, in big tree and yellow bush. And so a year has passed, and the good people are meeting again in the conference room at the hospital, and they discuss us again, our future, each one's needs, each one's education and abilities and prospects. Eva, Lisa, now accompanied by Esther and Ada, holding Bo in her arms, attend this meeting, and the longest discussion is about responsibility and authority. Because the older sisters have decided that they want to become guardians for the younger ones. Are they really capable of it? Yes, with some support from the municipality. Is it really the right thing to do? But if they want it, they want it. So we'll have to listen anyway. Dr. Odenfeld still wants Adina institutionalized. She seems to be suffering from an identity crisis, and Bo is mentally retarded, he insists. All we want is to be together. You don't have to take responsibility for us, says Ada. We understand, but we feel a great commitment to you girls. We want to help, Dr. Odenfeld tries to explain. The sisters turn red. No one understands. Perhaps they are right. Maybe it is time for each sister to take care of herself. But while some may be able to, Ada, who wants to study, Miriam, who has a chance to be completely normal, no one leaves the circle of sisters. We can't. A lot of progress is being made now, Dr. Odenfeld summarizes this meeting. You have to expect it to take time. I think we should continue with selected resources for another 6 months, possibly with the exception of Adina, who would need a more thorough psychological assessment on a board. But so far nothing has been decided, and it will only be after the summer in any case. "55 Alva. My dad is just like a big old great white shark in the ocean with a prehistoric brain that only seeks blood. He is the biggest and best, powering over all living things. But now he is a human instead of a shark, and he is at a disadvantage because he is not like other humans. Other people feel things like empathy, care, and love, but in Arthur there is only a void. Missing something doesn't fit with his self-image. He knows he is superior. He knows he is the best. He learned to play the human game while thirsting for more and more power. When he didn't get what he wanted, he drank and felt sorry for himself. Why did he have a human body? Why wasn't he king of the food chain in the empty depths where he belonged? He wanted to be loved, but had no connection to love. He perceived love as power play and felt deeply dissatisfied and duped. He couldn't give love either, but learned to manipulate to make it look like love, at least in front of the children. Children were easily deceived. Children could be both eaten and used. Now it was not the taste of blood that the shark craved, but power. A power tasted best when it was seasoned with love. The way the children sent out their generous affection. He struggled with boundaries because he thought he owned and was entitled to everything he wanted, and everything else for that matter. When he took full command of a child, a body, a trust, it was like he became valuable and rich. When he didn't get what he wanted, he became furious and bit and tore until they had to obey. He was wounded. He was charming. He was lost, but not afraid. What should he be afraid of when he was king and invincible? He risked his life several times and didn't care much about life and death, especially that of others. But he did not want to be abandoned. He needed others, needed power. The sex drive was something he immediately related to and understood. It was also an animal pleasure and a kick, and his brain loved kicks. He liked to get drunk, enjoyed financial games, impulsive life decisions, and shady deals. His wife Scylla was the one who would give him all the sex he wanted. Scylla and Arthur loved to hate each other. It was their dance. Arthur would come home from his roots and sniff after the worship he never had and never would have. He was starving and angry, but he somehow enjoyed his torment in the dark. Scylla had locked herself in the bedroom and refused to come out. He would see her superiority, take care of, carry, and heal her wounds. In her world, like everyone else, he had failed. He was all the ugliness and failure for her so that she wouldn't have to be it. We all were. Arthur had to get what he wanted, and she couldn't deny him that. But Scylla changed boyfriends like people change socks, but was still rather frigid was most of the time. But he had the daughters. They were his property. What a pity that one died and got away, and that the other followed her heart and dared to choose herself, her own life. Yes, I dared, but I was afraid. Every time he called or wrote, I thought he was going to kill me. This is where I can thank time the most. Time itself has alleviated the fear, eased the grip on me, the nervous system and the psyche. Besides time, Elsa and Freya have given me strength. I dreamt about them. They showed me a place within where I was protected. I feel nothing for him anymore, and although I will never forget what he did to me, I feel more and more like a survivor and not the lost one. With Arthur, it started in the basement. The pain made me leave my body and float away, float towards the stars and comfort. Sometimes he was brutal, other times he was seductive, talking about how beautiful I was, how much he loved me, that I was the most beautiful child in the world. When he took me on his trips in the truck and we stayed in motels, he would pretend we were husband and wife. If I showed the slightest reluctance, he would brainwash me. This never happened. For a while, I tried to escape from both him and my mother, but then he took me and held me captive. I'm the only one who cares about you, he dictated. My Elsa, she knew, had been in the basement. I went to her while he upped his game, raised the bar. I was back with Elsa, where she lay languishing in bed. I ran my fingers through her hair, leaned my forehead against her cheek, and prayed that it was I who would be able to heal her. Poor Arthur and Scylla, the relatives said. They are so young and going through something like this. Don't talk about it. Focus on moving on. Conveniently, Scylla's depression and Arthur's mood swings could now be explained by Elsa's passing. I don't know if they were aware that their daughter had passed away. Her name was now a carpet under which you could sweep all the unpleasantness of your life so you didn't have to take any responsibility. But most of the time, it was as if she had never existed. For some time, he saved his feces in a bucket and used it to drench me. I was 11 years old then. All I wanted was to stop existing when I lay under Poop King. Perhaps abuse and trauma can be understood in the larger context, on the ocean of time, in the cycle of events, relationships, and matter. I had to explore the darkness, learn something of it little by little, as I could manage. But above all, I had to choose myself in so many ways, choose my life, choose to exist. Elsa showed me. He and I stood there in the gaping bizarre villa, where he had just been left by his latest wife. He had no appearance at all. You molested me, you raped me, you strangled me, you smeared me with your feces. If you come near me again, I will email your company and everyone you know. Tell them all you are, a sadistic pedophile. He will never be allowed to hurt me and my own again. Chapter 54 and 55 comments. Bo expresses my thoughts about my father best. He is somewhere that no longer concerns me. By the time he receives his punishment, I will already be far away. Parents who invade one's body and soul definitely lead to a fragmentation of precisely that body and soul. This fragmentation can then involve me continuing to feel love and trust for parents to whom I was completely at the mercy of, whilst another part of me held on to the abuse and the knowledge of the dangerous parent. Who is it that needs treatment? Perhaps it's a society that lacks the capacity to truly deal with psychopaths, pedophiles, and their crimes. This leads to those who have been victimized by these crimes having to bear the responsibility, which is, of course, what they have been programmed to do. My fault, I was a bad child, disgusting, and so on. I wanted it. No, there's only one thing a child wants, and that is to be protected and loved. There is a crack in everything, that's how the light comes in, Leonard Cohen. It's one of my favorite quotes. It was awful to be abandoned and to live without Elsa, to be subjected to such brutal treatment by my parents. But in the darkness, there was the light. The soul, that is.